You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Welcome to the big show, my friends and family. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by the show. 14 years, 1,400 episodes plus, and we just keep on growing and doubling size every year, which is hard to do at this point, but it just amazes me how those numbers work. I am your host, Chris Voss, the man with an ego so big he can fit about 10 multiple personalities into it. Talk to my therapist. Anyway, guys, the stuff I make up on the ramble, you have no idea how this is never pre-written. Maybe some of you do. You're like, yeah, he just made that shit up and it sucked. Anyway, guys, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to youtube.com/goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, the big LinkedIn newsletter. And we're over on TikTok now. We're trying to get the show going on there, the TikTok, so we can be cool with the kids. Those kids, those young teenagers and 20-year-olds and all their Instagrammy, TikToky. We're trying to be cool because we're old, but we're smart, and that's about all we have going for us. So we're over there too, and there's even a channel called Chris Voss's Huskies, and it has my Huskies videos of my dogs. So if you hate me and my ugly fat face, you can go look at my Huskies instead, and you listen to the podcast. You don't have to look at my face when you're watching it. There's that. Anyway, we always have the brightest minds on the show, and none of them are me. And that's why we have guests, so that we can have a smart show and not a dumb show. Because God knows, the smarter you are, the sexier you are, and the more people will like you. I don't know. I'm not sure my attorneys say I can say that, but I just did, so sue me. Anyway, guys, Richard A. Moran is on the show with us today. He's the author of the latest book to come out from Wiley, I think it is, April 5th, 2023. Never say whatever. How small decisions make a big difference. Richard has served as a CEO, a college president, a venture capitalist, and a top-level consultant. He is a set of one. He has worked for or with some of the world's leading organizations, including Accenture, Apple, News Corp, American Airlines, PG&E, and many others. He prides himself on his matter-of-fact manner of consulting and believes that many parts of the business world are needlessly complicated. He brings up perspective to bear as it relates to decision-making in never say whatever. Welcome to the show, Richard. How are you?
Chris, that's a great setup. Thanks. I'm glad to be dealing with your multiple personalities here.
As long as the kill one doesn't emerge, the judge says it's okay, and I can remain free on bail. I'm just kidding, folks.
I'm with you. I'm in a mild state of arousal just thinking about how this whole show is going to go.
Yeah, my nipples are hard right now. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke, people. They're not. Anyway, guys, the comedy. We're just going to comedy. One of both of you and I will just go do stand up on the road. How's that? We'll just be a team like, I don't know, Penn and Gillette or something. Anyway, give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please.
Yeah, well, everybody hates the word whatever. Everybody says,
whatever.
Yeah, everybody says, I know somebody who says whatever, and I hate it when they do that. And I ask people that, 100% of people say, I know somebody who says whatever, I'm going to kill them. And then I ask the same audience, how many of you say whatever? And only like half of them will say it, but it's not true. Everybody says whatever. It's the most annoying word in the world, in the world, and I'm here to try to kill it.
There you go. It's even more annoying when it's the California Valley girl who's like, whatever.
Well, that's where it started with Alicia Silverstone, doing the W out there.
Yeah.
But, two things happen when you say the word. One is you're projecting the notion that you're a slacker, or you're a stoner, or you don't give a shit, or you're not making a decision. It's usually both. And it's the little decisions that make for a successful life, successful career, and make you happier. So my premise of the book is stop saying the word, make the decision, and your life gets better.
There
it's
you
simple
go.
as that. Simple as that.
So, Richard, give us a .com or wherever you want people to look you up on the interwebs too. So some people look you up during the show so they can kind of get to know you better.
You can go to richardmoran.com, and that's my website. And I do look at it, and I do respond, and I'm here to cure you, including you, Chris.
You're gonna have to argue with my therapist over that. He's saying that in order to eliminate the multiple personalities, we need a frontal lobotomy. So that might be the cure.
No, just stop saying whatever, and it'll get better.
Whatever. Sorry.
You know, it's like an earwig. The word is like an earwig. For you, Chris Voss, for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, every time you say or hear that word, whatever, it's going to be like, a theme from Cars for Kids or something. You won't be able to get rid of this word.
Yeah. Now I'm going to have it. I wish I'd set up the sound bite in the show to have a sound plug that I could hit with the Valley Girl going, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I took a look at your website and I can verify that it is yours. So you're on this mission. Is that a correct thing to say? Because I'm reading from the PR agency and what they sent me, but you're on a mission to get rid of this W word, the whatever word. Is this a mission from God, like Blues Brothers, or what's going on?
No, it's just, there's a lot of books written about decision making, and those books include, lots of sophisticated modeling and, spreadsheets and pivot tables and flux capacitors. I don't know. Decision making doesn't have to be that difficult. But here's some numbers. When you go out to lunch with a colleague, you are making about 300 decisions. Researchers at Cornell have this figured out. During the course of a day, you make about 35,000 decisions. I'm
tired already. Wow.
Yeah. So think about lunch. You go out, where do we go? Where do we sit? Is it cold enough? Is it hot enough? Do I want roast beef? Do I want chicken? Do I want sourdough, whole wheat? And every time you say the word whatever, you're likely to get the sandwich that you don't want. So there you go. It's a simple metaphor about that. And people get confused. They think that there's so many big decisions. There aren't. Life is made up of a lot of minuscule decisions. So and again, it's research, but people are hard pressed to name more than 10 or 12 big decisions in their lives. Where you live, who you marry, where you go to school, your faith, whether or not you should get a dog. I don't know. There's just not a lot of big decisions. So I don't want to sound like a missionary, but it's a simple decision-making tool. If you just stop saying that one word, things get better.
There you go. Is there a psychology for a reason we default to whatever? Is there some sort of thing in our brain where we're just like, I don't want to be difficult. I don't want to be the pain in the butt person. I don't want to be, seen as, highly, what's the word? Some people complicated or highly demanding or highly selfish or, there's kind of maybe some people approach it from that or some people, they're high maintenance, and you don't want to be seen as that. So you're just like, whatever, I'm good. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, whatever can mean. I'll just go along with it. That's one lazy way to fill the air with the word. But it usually is. It can be passive aggressive. It can be dismissive. It can mean screw you. It can mean. It can mean I'm helpless. It can mean I'm lazy. It can mean you make the decision for me and I'll blame you later. There's like 20 different decisions and they're all, the only good way to say whatever is. I love you and I'll do whatever it takes to win your affections. Other than that, it just is, the psychologists would say it's you're avoiding a decision. And we do that because there's so many decisions in our lives right now. And when you don't make them, they tend to pile up and then we get decision fatigue and then it's even worse.
You might be able to attribute whatever to women speak. And it's kind of like when women say fine and they're not fine. And maybe if a woman says, whatever you want to do, buddy. Yeah. It's not, she really doesn't mean whatever that you should do.
I have to admit that a lot of guys have told me, well, women say that.
Oh,
And young women say that. And guess what? It's not the case.
Yeah.
And everybody says it, old men, young men, in every country, every state. I had a New Yorker tell me, well, I'm from New York. We're in your face all the time. Whatever. And he said it in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So it's not Valley Girl speak. But it can also, think about this. It can be, you can say the word, or you can shrug your shoulders, or you can roll your eyes, or you can give somebody the middle finger. I mean, there's lots of ways to convey whatever. But it's the same message all the time, and it can be a real passive aggressive way to deal with people.
Definitely. Well, that explains my first 7 marriages. That's just a joke, people. I've been married 9.
If it comes up often where it drives women crazy when you get together for dinner and the woman says, "Hey, honey, what do you want for dinner?" And the guy says, "Whatever," which is, she wants to punch him in the face because it's a way to say, I'm dismissing you. So, yeah. And again, it's bad. So it's not like, it is something that everyone says, and it is just an easy way to cure yourself of something that's easy to do.
Hi, folks. Here's Voss here with a little station break. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. We'll resume here in a second. I'd like to invite you to come to my coaching, speaking, and training courses website. You can also see our new podcast over there at chrisvossleadershipinstitute.com. Over there, you can find all the different stuff that we do for speaking engagements if you'd like to hire me, training courses that we offer, and coaching for leadership, management, entrepreneurism, podcasting, corporate stuff. With over 35 years of experience in business and running companies as CEO. And be sure to check out chrisvossleadershipinstitute.com. Now back to the show. Is there any good case of using the word whatever that won't get you in trouble, or is it pretty much just a bad word that we need to maybe put on the 4-letter word expletive list there?
Well, one of the things that I did for the book is I interviewed a bunch of people about the word and whether or not they say it, who uses it. And, people, real leaders don't say it. Real people on a mission don't say it. Steve Jobs didn't say whatever. Warren Buffett doesn't say whatever. And I interviewed Michael Huerta, who used to be the head of the Federal Aviation Administration. He had 156,000 air traffic controllers reporting to him. A big job. So it took me a while for him to even understand the premise of the book. He said, at the FAA, that is not something that nobody ever talks about. I mean, can you imagine the pilot talking to the air traffic control saying, runway left, runway right, and the air traffic control guy says, whatever.
Whatever, just pick a lane you want to land on. Just pick one, run with it. Just let us know where you're landing.
Yeah, and there's certain careers. I mean, your brain surgeon doesn't say whatever.
Oh, that would be bad.
Yeah. So, so certain people in certain worlds, it's not a part of their world, but in most cases it is. I found, in the interviews, I found that the larger the organization, the more likely it is that people say whatever because their voice doesn't count.
Really?
It doesn't matter, whatever, they're homeless people or whatever around, whatever. So, whatever, and there's probably ways to deal with this.
Yeah, there really is a dismissiveness. In fact, you really struck me with that in the larger the organizations, people don't seem like they have a voice and say whatever. And I can see how that leads to complacency in an organization and powerlessness. When I wrote my book, Beacons of Leadership, I talked about how everyone can be a leader, and no matter whether they're in middle management, whether they're running a team, even if they're not empowered with, I worked at companies when I was young, where I just exercised leadership abilities, whether anybody liked it or not. Sometimes it got me fired. Sometimes people liked it and employed it and empowered it. But, if people don't feel like they're empowered an organization, that can be, and they have that whatever thing. Maybe that's the same approach. We also, it's a life approach too. We seem to, as Americans, not be shocked anymore by school shootings and other things that are happening in our world. And we're just kind of like, seem to almost be saying whatever, because we don't really do anything about it. And so it looks like it affects everything in our lives, public and business.
Yeah, and I want people to take a little bit of responsibility and be accountable. I talk about, I mean, it happens everywhere, especially when we were back in the office. Remember offices where
I do.
You'd go to the break room or the kitchen, and over the sink there'd be a little 3x5 card that said, "The maids have been fired, so clean up after yourself."
Oh wow, yeah.
And then you look in the sink, and there's piles of dirty dishes from tacos and Chinese food.
Yeah, that's me usually.
So you're faced with a choice. Do I say whatever and you just load your own dishes on top of the pile, or do you clean up after yourself, or do you clean up after everybody else? It's just not a whatever situation, and it's so that's such a small example, but it's so indicative and metaphorical for all the whatevers we have in our life every single day.
And maybe people should also look at it as an opportunity to lead.
Yeah.
Like I'll just talk about when my tribe gets together of men, my tribe of men, and when we do gaming. And like the worst thing that can happen is, there's several options in Call of Duty of different gaming plays that we can do as a tribe to go, hunt and kill that whole caveman thing that guys are into. And there's nothing worse than when there's 6 of us going, "Hey, which game should we do? What do we want to do?" Whatever. And everybody says whatever, and like no one takes the lead. And then somebody finally has to go, "Oh, fuck it. We're just going to fucking go do this because everybody's saying whatever." And it is an opportunity to lead. I mean, especially if you're maybe someone in an organization like you talked about where they don't feel empowered. There's an opportunity to lead right there and to take the mantle. And those are the people I think that usually get promoted and are successful, is the people that show leadership qualities, because those are the people that will ascend to the top of the organization and usually, I mean, they don't give CEO positions to people who are followers and say whatever. I don't think.
Well, they don't last long. If anybody who's in leadership who says whatever doesn't last long. But
that's true. Steve Jobs, you mentioned that earlier. Steve Jobs, when they're like, "Hey, what should we do to, bolster sales of the Mac and stuff?" He didn't just go, "I don't know, whatever you want to do. Should we do the iPhone? I don't know, whatever."
Yeah, no, but there is good news here because I discovered the cure. There is a cure for whatever, and it's very simple, and it's about, and the leaders all taught me this. It's about having a clear intention. That's all it takes. So the examples I use, if you have an intention, then the decisions are easy. If you intend to lose weight, your decisions are all about being on a diet. If you intend to stay married, you act and make decisions about you are married. You act like you are married. If you intend to get in shape, then your decision is to take the stairs, not the elevator. So it's very, it's 3 simple words: actions follow intent, decisions follow intent. And I make it sound simple, but it's not. But every day, if you clarify your intent, then the decisions you make about that day are better.
That makes sense. I mean, that really does, because we tend to kind of do what we're focused on. And so if you're focused on the wrong thing, like you're looking at something and going, "I don't like this and I don't want to do it," you're going to focus on things that maybe sabotage or don't do it. Yeah. And if you're focused on making something work, we could fall back to Steve Jobs again. One of my friends was on the team that built the iPhone. And one of the hardest things they had to do was, cram a fax machine in it and a phone in it and a camera in it and all these giant big things that, especially back then, were big, and cram it into this, the software on this little teeny phone. And if they would have said, "Well, I don't know, whatever, man, I don't know if this is going to work," it wouldn't have happened. But the intent was to cram all that stuff in there and somehow make it work. And even when Steve Jobs announced it, it wasn't working properly. It was crashing about every 3 motions. And it was a miracle it worked on stage. And there was multiple phones in the desk too. But it still took them, I think, another 6 months to perfect it before they could even release the product. But the intent was the key.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about it, when when I talk about intent, people think, well, we're talking about a big corporation. We're talking about IBM, and they put their mission and their vision and their intentions up on the wall. And I'm bringing it down. I'm to the personal level about clarifying your intent. And it's hard to do, but if you have a clear intent, then decisions are easy. If my intent is to get this book out and make it popular, make it a bestseller. So that's why I'm with you today. I made the decision to be with you today.
Oh, well, that's good that you did. That's
and
right
here we are, and I hope it happens. So, but think about it just like that, and you can do it every day. Just clarify your intent. Today, I intend to get exercise, so I'm going to make some decisions so I have free time to do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I intended to bring my good personality to the of my 10 personalities to the show today, and I think it's working so far. I haven't heard the kill voice, so we're doing it. But there's still time.
Great.
What haven't we touched on that you cover in your book that we can tease out?
Well, there's things, people need to recognize that I'm talking about them, and I'll give you a little survey. So here's some questions I have, like, do you eat second helpings even when you don't want them? Whatever.
If they're good.
That's a way to get fat.
I've seen that movie. I am that movie.
Do you schedule or attend meetings to kill time? That's whatever. Or do you hang around with friends that you don't like? That's whatever. There's just, do you not get dressed up for a Zoom meeting? Do you say whatever about that? Because people notice. It's not a whatever world. It's a people notice world, and that's what I'm talking about.
It definitely is. I love the concept of whatever. Now I'm going to feel guilty saying it, although the opposite has happened in my brain. I just want to say whatever. Oh my God.
I know.
Hey,
you're going to think about me. I'm going to be like Barney when he sings "Happy Birthday" to your kids.
Me? No, I'm just kidding.
In your ear.
But no, I'm going to be more conscious of it. And I think that's the great thing about your book and what you're bringing to light is that we need to be conscious of this data and, and taking more leadership roles. Like, I know even in my relationships with women, if you ask them, what do you want to eat? Where do you want to go? I don't know, whatever. They want you to lead. And so you pick a place and you go, you set up, when I set up a date, I lead. I pick the place, I pick the time, I say where we're going, and that's where we're going. People like leaders. We look through life. I think people don't realize how much we look through life for leadership and leaders and people to guide us. It's kind of an innate nature of human beings. And I don't know why. Maybe it's a tribal mentality or a community mentality. There always has to be a leader. And so whether it's politics, whether it's business, whether it's life coaches, or maybe an author, or, whoever, maybe it's a TV show host. Oprah was a great leader to a lot of women and people, whatever that is described to, it seems like we're always kind of searching for messages. And it seems like we look to leaders to tell us those messages. And I suppose you can ascribe to whatever the caveman basis is that, but there tends to be a lot fewer leaders than there are followers. It seems like there's a lot more followers than there are leaders. Yeah. And it just, maybe that's the way the dynamic works, but understanding these things of leadership, et cetera, et cetera. The next book you should write is one of the things that I come across a lot of times, especially on dates, is people who use the word like and like like.
Those are a little more benign than the word whatever.
I would give you that.
And everybody knows, the retailers, everybody knows that we're having trouble with decisions and choices right now, and comments about your leadership. And my favorite restaurant in San Francisco is the House of Prime Rib. They have taken all the choices out of your world because you don't go there to get fish.
You don't go there for vegan food, huh?
Well, I don't even know they have it. But
probably not.
Yeah, but it's
title, right?
The world is recognizing, marketers are recognizing that we're struggling with choices, and I think we're struggling with leadership, as you said.
Yeah, it's really become I don't know what's going on with the whole leadership thing, but it seems like we are struggling with that a lot, and people, I don't know if it's I don't know if people are just less leadership-y their leadershipery anymore.
Well, people love leaders who can make decisions. And even if they're hard decisions, they like leaders who can make decisions. They will follow leaders who can make decisions. But, as you said earlier, at the most basic level, we're all in charge of something, whether it's, your church group or your bowling team, or at the most basic level, you're in charge of your own life. So make decisions about that.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Make decisions about your own life. That's quite the concept you got there, man. We should all do that. Anything more you want to tease out in the book before we go?
Just that in the book, I put out a lot of tools and hacks about how to make decisions. They're all easy. Everything from lists of pros and cons to, one person said when it was a guy, when he has to make decisions, he consults with the magic 8-ball, just turns it over, and that's how he makes decisions. Well, it's a way that works for him, so go with it. But the book is full of little easy ways to make decisions.
Yeah, unless the magic 8-ball says whatever, then that's.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't. There's not one in there.
No, it might say answer hazy, try again. That's as close as it's going to get.
I'm gonna go make an 8-ball that every answer always comes up as whatever.
Yeah,
and
some people.
And then I'm gonna sell it as the ultimate passive aggressive non-decision makers 8-ball thing as a parody joke. I don't know thing.
Don't send it to me.
I won't send it to you.
What's happening with the book that I like is people are buying it and leaving it on their boss's chair at night, or leaving it in their partner's under their pillow. As in, stop saying this word.
Can I do a 5-star review on Amazon and just say whatever?
Yeah, you probably can.
As long as it's a 5-star, right?
Yeah. Do it. I'll look
whatever with this book. No, I really love the idea, and you've really made me. You've given me an epiphany or two as to why people feel disempowered in big corporations. That's a big deal for people. And the other thing I love about your concepts, Richard, is like you said at the beginning, we make everything overly complex, and therefore we have a harder time getting to the truth and honesty about something or resolving issues. And life is really simple. Some simple rules. Do good unto others like you would have them do unto you. Like, whether you're religious or not, I'm an atheist. I mean, that makes sense. It's like, hey, I don't want people to be marauders and steal my possessions and raid my house, so I won't raid anybody's house this week. Maybe next week.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's what the judge says too. So there you go. Well, Richard, it's been very insightful to have you on the show, and you've expanded our minds and our knowledge. Give us a .com so we can find you on the interwebs and learn more.
It's richardmoran.com. The book is available everywhere. So I think whether you buy it for your college graduate who's facing all these decisions or anybody else, I think I'll leave you with 3 words: never say whatever.
Never say whatever. That's the key word. And hopefully you've given us plenty to think about. I know whenever if I say whatever anytime soon, I'm going to be like, oh my God.
I'm in your ear.
Yeah, I'll just slap myself with a rolled up newspaper or something. That's usually how I train myself. I have dogs, so that's how we train Chris around the world. In fact, my dogs hit me with newspapers. Don't hit your dogs with newspaper. That's people. That's a '70s joke. Anyway, order up the book wherever fine books are sold. People, never say whatever. Whatever. Never say whatever. How small decisions can make a big difference in your life. Out April 5th, 2023. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be sure to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Check out the new AI podcast at AI podcast chrisvoss.com, or I think it's AIChrisVoss.com. There's a few variations we bought as a referral. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe and don't say whatever. We'll see you next time.